Hey everybody, CJF Hotshot here. Welcome one and all to 2024. We're kind of taking in a bit of a stopgap for The Flash right now. Just talking about like DC's current slate for The Flash, because again, it is like talking about the three main books as well as like other things that Flashes are in. So, and since Speed Force 3 has just come out and Jay Garrick the Flash 4 isn't out yet, we have all three Flash books kind of at the same point. I know like the main Flash book is a bit ahead out of it having like started in September, whereas the others started like a month later and then a month after that. But for the sake of today, they're at the same point, especially since the Flash isn't ongoing anyway, so it'll still be going on after Speed Force is done. So I just thought, okay, whilst the books are at the same point, I want to do a bit of a stopgap and just see how they're going so far, see how the trajectory of the stories are going, how much I'm enjoying them, how much I can complain about them. Not that much, actually. So that's good. Not much to complain about. There's still some things because I'm a fan. And also, theorizing. I want to theorize. I want to look into the future of these books and the Flash mythos as a whole and think, all right, what's up with this story? And yeah, just a whole bunch of stuff. But first of all, opinions. Flash, okay. I've gone on record complaining about Simon Spurrier's Flash run multiple times for multiple reasons, and some of those reasons are still there. Again, the paneling. I don't like Mike Deodato's paneling right now in the book. I think, especially as this is on every page, like every page is the way that it is. And if you're reading The Flash, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm very excited for when the 7th issue, like Flash 807, Flash number 7, when that comes out, and it'll just have normal panel layouts because it has a different artist. I think Spurrier's getting a real like linchpin, not linchpin. He's getting better at characterizing Wally now that we're in the part where he's on the train for the book. So that's cool. He's not finding Wally's voice, he's just found it now. So that's brilliant. I love that. I'm really liking, okay, I'm not a big fan of the horror stuff, but what I am liking is the Speed Force statues as a concept. I also like that he's bringing in all of the Flash family members and kind of like tying in the horror aspects of the Speed Force into how Wally's psyche, because we're getting into the point with the statues especially, where with this is the thing, we don't know what it's called. I'm going to call it the statues or the gallery. I think they might have actually called it the gallery. I don't know. Yeah, the statue gallery, where when Wally isn't perceiving them, the statues are moving as relative present goes, but as soon as he looks at them, they freeze. It's like a reverse of Doctor Who's Weeping Angels, in a way, where it's just like, it's actually like simulating life instead of simulating death. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I really like that, especially since these are all of Wally's emotional attachments. I really like that when we're at the point where, because we know that speedsters lose their senses of selves and identity in the Speed Force before. We've seen it in Dead Heat, especially, and even in Rebirth 09, even though that was a bit of a, you know, because like with Dead Heat, it was like multiple exposure to that many time jumps. Whereas with Rebirth 09, it was like, I'm going deep into the Speed Force. So I think they're going with that approach from Rebirth 09, but a bit better, where it's just like, okay, we're deep in the Speed Force, but it's part of the Speed Force that we haven't seen before. And what I think is going to happen is that the Speed Force will have like parasite leech to it, hence why everything about it is dangerous right now. Like some sort of like Speed Force parasite. I'm guessing it's something to do with the Folded Man. Like the Folded Man put a parasite in the Speed Force. That's what I'm guessing is happening. And he's about to do it to the other forces that Williamson introduced. Because I'm thinking that Spurrier is raising the stakes and raising the stakes and raising the stakes. That's where my theory is. But yeah. So yeah, Flash, I'm happy to be excited for it again, because there was a point in the current run where I wasn't. So I'm happy to be saddled on board and know that I'm actually gonna like where some of the Flash book is going. Even if I'm not 100% in, I know that I'll be sold more and more as it goes on. So that's comforting to me. Speed Force. They fixed the captions in issues 2 and 3, which is great, because I'll tell you, I was complaining about the captions in issue 1. Speed Force 1 was just like, whose inner monologue is this? I'm going to assume it's Ace's. But I had to assume that. I can't, you know, because it was definitely from a point of view, and it says when being Kid Flash, so I'm assuming it's Ace's. But like the fact there wasn't like a visual indicator for the captions, in which most issues there normally is. Yeah, I'm just glad that they fixed the captions. Other than that, I think it's my least favorite of the 3 books. For a few reasons. It's very much about the younger generation's dialect and how it very much feels like if you flash back to 70s comics, where every time Wally and Roy were on page, like in the 70s, it's always so hip and jive and like, very much like language of that generation and language of the younger people in that generation especially. That doesn't translate into media. It doesn't translate into written word as well, especially since you're reading it 40 years later. And so whilst this isn't as much as a problem now, it's just something I picked up on, and it's just like, oh, okay, you're doing this. So it's actually hard to like have a good voice in for Ace and Avery because of that. But other than that, yeah, Jarrett Williams is doing better than what I would have done for Ace and Avery probably. So, you know, I also really think he's just quite nice. He's just a nice writer. I'm also loving the art by Danielle DiNicuolo, even though right now they're also having George Combades and what's his name, Tom Durenick, pitching on the art a bit. So that's pretty cool. My current theory is that Ace is actually going to graduate into like Burst or a like Northern Nightwing type figure in the Flash family. And the only reason I think this is because they very much established Ira being 13 now, whereas in Adams's run, it was established that she was 10. So I think they're going to accelerate the ages of the Speedster kids, including Bart, Ace, and Avery. So I think he'll turn into that Nightwing type, the Nightwing legacy. Not Nightwing, but obviously like the Flash's equivalent of Nightwing, which is what people want Wally to be. And I'm just like, no, that man is the Flash. But I think with Ace, I think that'll actually fit quite well, because I think he'd reject the mantle of the Flash outright. Other than that, I don't know what they're going to do with Avery after. Yeah. Okay, Jay Garrick the Flash. Very excited. I loved seeing Jay Garrick content. I knew that with Judy Garrick, there would be a lot of division in the Flash mythos, in the Flash fan base. And I kind of knew that. And all I thought was, if anyone's going to get this right, it's going to be Jeremy Adams. And I was right. I know people still aren't sold on Judy. I'm not really. I don't think any other writer could probably write Judy. I think this is a one story, and then she's just going to fade into the background, into the Too Many Speedsters catalogue with Mina. That's what I think, personally. But yeah, I'm enjoying the book. Issue 4 is going to deal with Jay Garrick's origin. Hopefully they keep that he was smoking, because that is the crucial part of Jay Garrick's origin to me. So yeah, all in all, I'm enjoying it. There's also been some other Flash books, specifically like Titans Beast World stuff. Wally's in Beast World. They killed Chunk. They killed Chester, my boy. Why did they kill Chester? And I think they killed Chester Jr. I think they killed like Ace's Chester as well. Because like Chunk really said, "You killed me, and that was my son." And I'm just like, oh, Chester, my guy, what happened to you? So yeah. And we still haven't seen Wally's reaction to it yet, because I think that's going to be in the next issue of Titans Beast World. But yeah, that's quite sad for me. Wally has barely been in Beast World. I think the most recent issue of Beast World is the most he's ever been in it, but that's like 3 pages. And I'm only counting it because Beast World's tour Central City had like a lot of all the other speedsters and Flashes in it. And Barry and Ira were like the emotional core to that. And I think right now, Ira has more screen time in Beast World than Wally. And I'm just keeping that note in my head. So yeah. Also, Barry Allen's character arc is that he's kind of in the role that I'd want him to be in, which is like retired until he can sort out his head and sort out his place in the Flash family, and also sort out his relationship with Iris. I'm very glad that he's pushing himself into the background instead of being pushed by everyone else. Because I think that's what he'd do anyway, because like when Barry pushes himself to be the main Flash, what often happens is that he isolates himself from everyone. Whereas now that he's not like the main active Flash, and hasn't been for a while, and hasn't been enthralled in crisis events, he actually has time to just sit in his relationship with Iris and breathe, and then carry on later. So that's quite good. I also just asked on Twitter, what's your thoughts on the current state of the Flash mythos? And honestly, more positive than I thought it would be, which is great. There's still some people who are in the thought of mind that I was in during the start of Flash, was just like, I don't know, I'm not sold on the main book, which I understand, because I am very much like that, and I only got sold because of very specific things, and the characterization of like Wally and Ira in issue 4. And basically issue 4 sold me on the book so far. Like the 4th issue 804, like sold me on it. It's been getting better every time, because like if you saw Flash 800, I was just like, Simon, what are you doing? But like I'm quite comfortable and just like, okay, this is where you're going. This isn't as bad. I actually quite like this. So yeah, now that we know where we're kind of going, and knowing, all right, we're getting character moments like this where the plot influences the character and the characters influence the plot. So that's quite cool, because you aren't always guaranteed that. I like that Speed Force references the events in the Flash going on in the background. I thought that was a nice touch. Mr. Terrific is doing triple time in these books, by the way. Do you know who the main character of the Flash mythos is? It's Mr. Terrific. And I think that is very funny to me. It's like there's probably been like some point in history where it's just like, who is the main Green Arrow character? And then the person who shows up in all the Green Arrow books is Hal Jordan. And it's just like, oh, so that's what it's like to be a Green Arrow fan. I think Mr. Terrific to the Flash mythos is going to be what Hal Jordan is to Green Arrow. Where it's just like, you got to have them in eventually. And I don't know, I find that quite funny. So yeah, all in all, I'm very excited for all of this. I'm excited for the 1 Minute War Trade. I'm excited for all the collections coming. By the way, if you check the collections video, I'm getting what I wanted with the Loeb's Omni. So that's pretty cool. And the Williamson Omni. I didn't want the Williamson Omni, admittedly, but I was just like, right, here's what they would do, a Williamson Omni. So it's just like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's where I'm going to leave you off. And hopefully we'll see within the next, let's say 6 months, we'll see where DC is going next with the Flash mythos, and then we can make another stopgap like this where it's just like, all right, where's the Flash right now? And so yeah, so look forward to the rest of my Jeremy Adams Flash in retrospective. I'm also going to complain about the rogue profile issues from other runs of the Flash soon, so look forward to that. All right, peace out everyone.